Hello everyone, my name is CCG88 and welcome to episode 57 of the Refurbished Logo Evolution series. I've not touched the cinema section on the CLG Wiki yet, and I think it's about time I have a peek into what's on there. Let's do an RLE on the king of cinema advertising, digital cinema media. DCM for short dates all the way back to 1969 with rank screen advertising. They supplied advertisements in rank and Odeon screenings. In 1996, Carlton Communications purchased them and they renamed it to Carlton Screen Advertising, which operated in the UK and Ireland. In 2008, the two split and the UK ended up with DCM. Carlton Screen Advertising continued to run in Ireland until 2014 when it was renamed to Wide Eye Media. We have 10 logos to get through today, 5 from RSA, 1 from Carlton and 4 from DCM. When Rank started their cinema advertising division, their logo looked like this. It's called Shapes in the Abyss and it was used from 1969 to 1973. There's an opening version that reads Rank Advertising Films Presents. And there's a closing version that has their old address. There isn't much to say about this, but the closing version is clearly off-center, and that really annoys me. Apparently this logo uses stop motion, which just sounds a bit off to me for some reason. Up next is arguably the most ingenious logo from today, Rank in Space. This was seen from 1973 to 1977. The logo has a countdown from 10 to 1 showing all kinds of movie clips as its opening. The closing has the name appearing one word after the other with the address and telephone number in the bottom right. I like the idea of using a countdown. It's the sort of thing you don't see a lot in logos, so it's rather imaginative. However, due to the quality, I don't really know what films this logo shows, but I bet it would be clearer seeing it on the big screen in 1973. That wasn't the sole space logo from Rank, however. This was. It's called Rank in Space 2, and it was used for 11 years from 1977 to 1988. I have 6 videos. 2 are opening versions. One is in 4:3 and one is in 16:9. Two are closing logos. One is in 4:3 and the other is in 16:9. There was also this films version which I know very little about. It was apparently used in the early 70s, basically being a variant of the previous logo, but it has animation of the second space opening. Perhaps this films version inspired the creation for this intro, but who knows? There's an opening version and a closing version. This seems more professional than what they had before because this one has more animation, but it just looks cheesier. The music is also slightly off, but it kinda fits. The fourth logo today, folks, is Projector parts. This was used from 1988 to the 1990s. It might have been used until 1996 and in tandem with their fifth creation, but here's this logo first. I have 2 closing variations with the address. This is decently made, but I don't like the cuts. It's very unexpected. If it had a fade effect, it would be better. The music is rather generic, but that's not a huge issue. The next one is okay, but it has one huge flaw. Here is the fifth logo today. It's called RSA City, and it was only used in the 1990s, probably until 1996. There's an opening version, and the closing version. How many of you noticed the mistake? If you haven't yet, I'll tell you. The A in RSA stands for advertising, so the full name is Rank Screen Advertising Advertising. How they didn't notice that is a story we'll never know. Perhaps they just forgot that RSA stood for something. Anyway, we've now reached 1996. It's time to switch to Carlton Screen Advertising's logo. I like to call it the Sizzling Star, and it was seen from 1996 until 2014. I have 6 videos of it. 4 are opening versions. Often the star will appear yellow. The other 3 have the star changing to a more red light colour. The 2 closing versions only show the star calling to a red or disappearing entirely. Carlton had a reputation of having scary themes or visuals in their logos. Another good example is their first home video logo. I actually quite like it though. It's different from what Rank had, and it does feature a star, which was Carlton's favourite shape. Seeing it on the big screen would have been interesting to see, but it would have frightened some though. Moving on, we now have to go through Digital Cinema Media's logos. Their first one, which I only saw once in my local cinema, looked like this. Let's call it the DCM slideshow. It was used from 2008 to 2011. A closing version exists. I was very young when I saw this, so I didn't really think much about it, nor could I remember what movie played after it. I wouldn't really call it intriguing, but it isn't terrible or anything. I don't really have a lot to say about it, so let's move swiftly on to Rainbow Lanterns. This was used from 2011 to 2013. I don't know why, but I really like this opening. It animates in such a pulchritudinous way, but also in a really simple way. It's easily my favourite logo from this episode, and it's a good start to the 2010s. Shame how logos weakened in animation as the decade continued. In 2013, DCM had a rebrand. Here it is. Let's call it DCM Slideshow 2. They used it until 2014. There are 3 versions. They are known as Amazement, Laughter and Suspense. Amazement was mostly seen before generic films, Laughter was seen primarily before comedic films, and Suspense was used to show that a horror or an action film was next. All three intros have the same concept, having an outline of DCM's new logo with various changing videos. Below, dynamic advertising appears. Here are all three versions. I like the idea, and the tracks are unique in their own ways. They quickly had an update where the end cards for all versions would look like this. I wish I could come up with a better nickname other than just DCM Slideshow 3, but there we go. It's still in use today. The three versions from the previous logo are still there, with all of them having a 10-second and a 15-second ident. Here are the amazement versions. Here's the laughter versions. And lastly, we have the suspense clips. Considering it's an updated version of what DCM used previously, it's perfectly fine. Interestingly though, the suspense idents have not been used at all, and most films, regardless of their genre, have the amazement one. I've seen it dozens of times, and it is a great thing to see in a huge auditorium. We've had some good and bad choices in this video, but it's mostly been clean, which I'm glad to see. I just hope that DCM stays consistent as we go further into the future. Thank you very much for watching this video, I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all later. Goodbye!